Good afternoon, everyone. Just imagine that waking up and finding that overnight all your dreams, your insecurities, your fears, the deepest hidden wishes have been packaged, sold, and fed back to you in a form of content. I'm not talking about any science fiction movie over here. It's the daily routine of the algorithm age. In the next half an hour, we are going to discuss how this algorithm and social media affect our reality and gives us the fake social comparisons and compel us to fake our identities or pressurize us to fake our real self. I'm Dr. Mirat Gul, and today's webinar is on digital persona. Let's start. Meanwhile, if you have any question, you can put the questions in the chat box. And after this webinar presentation, I will be presenting, I will giving you the replies. Okay, so digital persona, social comparison, identity formation, and mental health in the algorithm age. This is how we are going to proceed. The foundations, persona and the digital self. Then we'll talk about the psychology of comparison, how the algorithm reshape identity. Then strategies and recovery, reclaiming autonomy, both online and offline. Talking about persona, it's a term coined by Carl Jung. Persona is the social mask which we wear to present ourselves in the society. It's since long, like it's since the ages we are doing it. So the persona is the one which defend our ego, sometimes from reality and sometimes from our own thoughts and from the people around us. So it's just what we pretend we act. Then in this advanced life, digital persona came into being. The self shaped by algorithm feedback. What is good nowadays? What is in trend nowadays? How we gonna look? How we gonna talk? How we gonna present ourselves? What is the society needs? What the people need? How we can be an in group? If we don't do, what makes us out group? So these are the things which logarithm feedback shows us, and it is showed by images, emojis, hashtags, and avatars. Different platforms use multimodal cues to construct identity. The need for social validation creates conflict between authentic self-expression and the pressure to conform to social media standards. Sometimes we just need the validation to be the part of that particular group which we desire, but our real self doesn't want that. So when we compel ourselves, when we repress or sometimes consciously suppress our inner desires or self, our true self washed away, faded away, and then we remain in conflict. The unconditional and like free floating unhappiness remains inside. Whether we become the part of that particular group or we get the validation which we are struggling for, but still the emptiness remains there. It's a universal experience now. Every age, whether it's child, teen, adult, everyone is affected by it. So how many likes we have, we become happy. But sometimes we have to think that, do really we feel happy when we get the likes? The psychology of comparison. It has started since the beginning of the journey of this life, I think. Mechanisms harming mental health. If you talk about social comparison, the comparison started from our childhood sometimes. Sibling rivalry is always there in our life, but when parents start the comparison, it becomes the perpetuating factor, the maintaining factor of our complete unhappiness. And this same loop, this same trap arises when we start doing social comparison. This person has this thing, or she looks like that, or this is the high standard, this is the low standard. So we set these things and we get into trap. Then the identity formation, the pressure to perform in certain way to have those validation things or to join those groups which we want, that create anxiety loop because we start social comparisons, we pressure ourselves, we suppress our real self, and we continuously struggle and stuck into that vicious cycle of a dependency that if we get the approval, if we get that validation, then everything is fine. The feedback loop of validation. So feedback loop started. When we do something, whether after like forcing ourselves or pressurizing ourselves or doing the best thing to get the validation, and then we get the reinforcement, it also become a maintaining factor for us. But this reinforcement, if we acknowledge it and if we internalize it, it becomes our pattern. And over time, that mask which we wear becomes our reality. But that is not the original reality. That is a fake one. But it narrowed down us, our vision, our perception, and emotional narrowing started. We fix ourselves to a certain thing that if this happened, then we are happy. So it's just like a make-believe thing. Children used to play this game, and at adult age, or at any age, we start doing the same thing. So the psychology of comparison, the gap between real and algorithm self. A psychological tension arises when there is a mismatch between a user's complex internal reality and the simplified data profile the algorithm constructs. That's like the same which I have talked before, that the real self is different. But to match the society standard or the social media standards, we change ourselves, we compel ourselves to do certain things, which might not suit us, which might not click with our inner reality. But because we want to adjust or we want to portray ourselves in some way or the other, so we struggle, we push, we pressurize ourselves. And that is an identity threat. Users may feel pressure to conform their real life behavior to match their logarithm self to maintain consistency and validation. Why? Sometimes I'm sure any of you have experienced that. Oval shaped face, this sort of makeup suits. Or, if you have this sort of shape, a face shape, this sort of makeup suits you. If you have this body structure, these sort of clothes suits you, or things like that. Where does the initial thing of a human being to experiment on things, to have a broader vision, to gain more knowledge, that I'm talking about the emotional narrowing. So everything got narrowed, not only the emotional things, our brain function, our perception, our visions, they all got affected due to a logarithm. How much everything, whatever is popular, we are following that. Performance over authenticity. Trying too hard to please the algorithm makes people act fake, which feels exhausting and untrue to who they are. How algorithms specifically shape identity. Algorithms don't just show you what you like, they change who you are. Instead of discovering yourself naturally, you start copying popular templates. It's the same thing which I have discussed before. That in this social media, everything is sellable. They are showing you to sell, to market something. They are showing it repeatedly. And it doesn't mean that that is the truth which is showing repeatedly. If they are showing it repeatedly, that will, come into your, in front of your eyes. So it's a natural process. It's a psychological process. Whatever is repetitively shown you, you become habitual of it. Whenever you go into market, you start thinking that, oh, this is the one I looked at. This is famous. It's not famous actually. They have made it famous through the algorithm because they are repeatedly showing it to you. The For You mirror. You adopt ready-made personalities, styles, opinions because the algorithm shows them to you. Then emotional narrowing, the same thing which I have discussed before. You become one-dimensional rather than exploring yourself, your likes, your dislikes. Prime amplification. The system pushes extreme content, making you think that your normal life is very boring. So you must have something thrill-seeking, something extraordinary. Self-fulfilling prophecies. When you click on sad content, the app shows you only the sad contents, the poetry, any sort of sad songs and stuff, trapping you in that particular mood. I hope every one of you have experienced it because once you click something, if you start, to like after this webinar, you can start and clicking on any food stuff. The algorithm will show you repeatedly what type of food is available around you, then what type of food is available, and things like that. Everything related to food. So this is their work. This is the social media is meant to do that. Social comparisons enhances and they become unhealthily visible in social media if you start looking at it. When you see the person or the people who are show their life very perfect, it doesn't mean they are very perfect. They are showing you that particular part of their life which is perfect. So if you are comparing your life with them, so they are just showing you a little part. It's not their whole life. You cannot compare your whole life with that one particular part. We have to be vigilant before doing this social comparison. Fragmentation, because trends change so fast, your personality feels unstable, so you start changing and sometimes you got confused. So modification is okay, but blindly following anything would always affect negative on a person's personality. The algorithm reward fake extreme behavior, which traps you in a loop, makes you compare yourself unfairly to others, and stop you from growing into a complex real self. The question arises why we want to be easy or available or show everything whatever we do on social media. Why we can be complexed, why we can be secretive, why we want everybody to know us. It's our life. It should be a personal thing. And personal thing means that it belongs to you, not to everyone else. And that's the beauty of a human being. To be complex, to be personal, to be secretive. Now, the strategies to deal with the algorithm, pressure, and enhancing mental well-being. To reclaim autonomy, we must disrupt the algorithm feedback loop. It's the thing which we can do by our own self. We don't need anybody else. We just need preparation. We just need to click the button, right? Scrutinize recommendations. Your algorithm daily suggest you a few things that you can, this is the friend suggestion. This is the suggestion for the, the event is happening or something, these things, these suggestions, I think we receive them on daily basis. Scrutinize the recommendation. Treat the For You feed as a curated magazine, not a mirror. It's not your original self. They have to sell it. The media has to sell it. These websites has to sell them. Regularly clear watch history or search data to reset the algorithmic profile. Remind yourself that the content is selected for engagement. It's not accurate. It's for your entertainment or for your, killing time and stuff. If you are free, you can look around and get engaged in something just like that. It's not the authentic thing or it's not the accurate thing, please. Some websites or some information is, of course, is authentic and accurate, but it's not possible that everything what you see is accurate. You have to check the real versus real check. Build a mental habit of questioning the authenticity of what is seen. You have to check because we all have experienced that rumors spreads so fast, the gossip spreads so fast, but the fact, the truth is always remain hidden, and it has to do a lot of struggle to come out of that shelter. So we have to be vigilant, we have to be active to see the authentic thing. Follow the channels who give authentic news. We all know about them. So rather than just having a gossip or something, trendy and just following it, follow the most authentic things or the platforms. Do the mindfulness posting. Shift focus from how many likes will this get to does this reflect my true self? Like, really, I enjoy posting it? Or you are posting it for the benefit of the society, or you are posting something to make people see that one can do that in those circumstances or and within those resources. This post is for motivation or showing off. You have to be clear in mind. Curate your feed. Actively unfollow accounts that trigger feeling of inadequacy. Follow those that promote authenticity. Identity anchoring in the offline world. This is the very best thing I think, and I really enjoyed while preparing the slide. It's like, we can do a lot of things offline, and we all know about it, but we don't try it. We don't find it that much attractive, actually. Rebuild identity based on private experience rather than public validation. When you stop going after that public validation, you start validating yourself. And that's the beauty. I think that's the win-win situation for for a human being, that they start validation and get validation from within. So create offline movements. Reclaim your own authorship rather than asking people to validate you. And try to deliberately engage in the activities which are like offline, like, which are non-digital ones. Journaling, hiking, and hiking without posting, or cooking without posting the photos on the social media to get acknowledged. Don't do it. If you're cooking for your family, if you are having a family time, rather than showing it off, keep it to yourself and enjoy the moment. Remain in that very moment. Those moments reinforce a sense of self that exists independently of the algorithm. When you stop going after the validation and reinforcement, it will start generating from within. Try it. Real life connection. Prioritize face to face interaction. Make digital boundaries. It's very a beautiful thing that you start having a place at home which is a free tech free zone. You, like, while eating, you just make a rule that nobody will use the phone. You're not always in the operation theaters or emergency departments, so you're not always taking care of life and death matters. So you can take your mobile on off from you for a half an hour, for even an hour. So make time for that. You will feel a sound, a peaceful, a serene sound in your mind. Your brain will relax. Do apply it. Self-compassion practice. When comparison strikes, reframe the thought, I'm enough as I am. Write down 3 unique personal strengths daily to build internal self-worth that is immune to external matrices. Rebuild identity based on private experiences rather than public validation. You know yourself better than anybody else. So try to encourage yourself, try to identify your own strengths rather than asking people around that whether that you really deserve something or not, or you really are what you are showing or not. You should know what you are showing. You should know what you want to show. Active self construction, breaking the feedback loop. Instead of passively consuming what the algorithm serves, we engage in active self construction. Diversify inputs, follow accounts that challenge your interests, political or aesthetics. Introduce noise to stop narrow identity because you are giving yourself more freedom, more choice, more options to choose. Give yourself that chance. The prime check. Ask, is this prestigious in-group or moral or emotional content designed to trigger me? Recognize the manipulation. It will reduce its effect when you consciously do that. Everyone else is more successful than me. The same thing which I have discussed before. Remember that no one is posting their failures. They are showing what they want to show. Just. You don't know their whole life. You don't know their struggles. Same, nobody else would know your struggles or your life. Mindfulness, scrolling, and intentionality. Shift from unconscious habit to conscious choice. Self set intentions. Before opening an app, ask, why am I checking this right now? Are you bored? I have nothing to do. So if you can divert your attention and can do any constructive work by hand, you can go and do it rather than just while you're cooking food and you start scrolling. Sometimes your food get burnt due to this particular thing. So just set intentions. And the pause, a mandatory 3-minute mindful pause, deep breathing or a body scan before logging in. Then emotional check-ins. After viewing a post, identify your immediate emotional response. If it triggers you or if it stresses you, just stop following it, please. Uh, this is the pause exercise I would really like to do. If anybody of you can do it, it's just like feel a scanner that is scanning you from head till your toe. You don't have to count. You just have to focus that you are feeling a scanner is moving from head till your toe. Slowly, gradually. Start with few seconds, then a minute. Then you can practice it with a stopwatch. It will create a real, like deep and constant effect in your personality. The anxiety bouts and the stress, it is very helpful in that. So the graduated detox protocol. Research suggests a step-by-step approach in more effective than quitting cold turkey for long-term identity recovery. This is a sort of thing which we use, like if we think that the digital stuff is becoming a habit or an addiction to us, we can taper off it like this. So it's a tapering off of digital addiction. In week 1, reduce daily usage by 25% using built-in screen time tools. In week 2, implement the phone-free zones. No phones at the dinner table or in the bedroom, and especially in the washrooms. Keep this in mind. Week 3, attempt a 48-hour digital detox on weekends to reset the dopamine baselines. If you treat yourself, if you manage yourself, you can start, quitting those habits, those dependencies, but gradually. Week 4, evaluate which platform serves your authentic self versus those that drain you and remove the rest. Outcome. Studies shows that protocol can improve self-esteem and body image within just 1 month. So you can try that. Thank you. Now I will go to the questions. It's just a self-validation. Um, it's just a self-validation. Self-validation means that when you are satisfied with yourself and you are open to yourself, what you are doing it, what you can do, you validate yourself. You don't need anybody else for any confirmation or approval. You self-validate, and you are with you whether the people around you are with you or not. It's your inner self which is validating you. It's not that if you are doing wrong and you start saying yes, it means that yes, I have this capacity and I can do this much. So it's not that you're negating yourself or you're belittling yourself. You are accepting and acknowledging your efforts. You are going with the facts and the reality rather than your behavior. So yes, you have a limited resource, you can do this, but the behavior is not acknowledged. So this is the validation thing. Then you are right, we made our real life so boring that the only interesting uh, thing we find is on social media. Is that why our brain keep looking for dopamine online all the time? Yeah, thank you for that. Many people don't really use social media, but they stalk other people like live and enjoy to do that. It is addiction or curiosity. Stalking is also an addiction thing. When you are deliberately doing it and you're trying to withhold it or control it, but you can't. So it is the same. Curiosity kills, and addiction makes sure that you got killed. So curiosity is the start of stalking, and it ends into a negative behavior. Thank you, Dr. Vijay. What can be the ideal number of screen time usage daily? That can depend actually. If there is if you are a school going person, you're a project manager, if you're working and you are an IT specialist or you are a tech person, the screen time is the working time. We over here we are talking about what we do in our leisure time, or we find time to see the screen. So it should not be more than 2 hours or 3 hours maximum. But if you just think that we when we go like we are taking bath, and again when we come out from the after taking bath, we start looking at our mobile. So if gather or calculate the minutes in the whole day in 24 hours, it's more than 8 to 9 hours, sometimes it's 10 hours, because when you start scrolling you can't see the time. So you have it's a limit 3 hours. I think it's the maximum, but 4 hours would be like if you have presentation or you have a group or any work to do on or on social on media, then you can do it. Otherwise it's like 2 hours is more than enough for just scrolling and having fun or following somebody or even stalking. 2 hours is more than enough. What can be the My husband is always on his mobile after work. I feel like he is not present with me anymore. If I ask him to put the phone away, he gets defensive. Yes, because now it's the time he is getting affected and um, associated, or you can, in other words, he got addicted with it. He's so much attached with it that if you take the thing from away from him, the craving doesn't end. When you crave for something, when if that thing is taken away from you and you start irritating, you start having aggressive issues or emotional issues, it means that you're very much linked to it, you're addicted to it. So this is a high time you should tell him to get therapy for it. Because if you threat him, or if you ask him, or you plead him, I don't think so that will work. Many jobs demand us to be online and up to date always. As a article writer, my job is to always search for current affairs and breaking leads. Yes, that is something else. But when you start scrolling without a reason to just kill your time, or you have nothing to do, then it's a purposeless thing. A purposeless thing will affect your morale, will affect your personality and identity. This is the work you are talking about. I'm talking about the self identity. So, what is affecting your self identity? That is the basic thing, which is, digital persona is affecting. How can self identity change with doom scroll? Self identity change, yeah, because sometimes I don't know whether you have seen people start dressing up, talking, or wearing makeup or styles. Even I have seen my few clients who just try to have plastic surgeries to look like a person who is famous. So it's not that they are mentally disturbed or something. It's just that they are curious, or they are not happy with themselves, and they want to be acceptable, acknowledged by the world. So their identity sometimes is repressed or suppressed. Sometimes they unconsciously suppress it, or sometimes they consciously, like that happens in life. I think if you are scrolling something and you find things that this style is nowadays in trend, and then you like it, whether you're speaking or not, the AI gets you that you liked it, and you are going to see the same thing again and again, and then you are compelled to buy it, because when you go into the market, you see those things that your eye will catch that, because you have seen it too many times on the social media, that when you go into the market, you'll catch that and you'll buy it. And that's not the way you want. Might be you just have a click that you might be, you want to look like that, but it doesn't mean that you really want your personality to be like that. So that's how your personality got affected. Yeah, you got influenced. uh, in my opinion, everything is about being grateful to of what you have. Otherwise, you will always end up comparing your life. Yeah, that's very nice that you have to be grateful. You can improve yourself, you can modify your style, you can enhance yourself, but copying, or following any trend without any uh, thought, just keeping in mind that I will be acceptable, that is wrong. That will affect you internally, your personality, your inner self. That will affect you, and that's the thing which I'm talking about. That don't get affected by the shiny things. You have many things in yourself, so try to explore those, refine those, make them shine. Maybe that would be much better than the things around you. Thank you. I hope I have answered all the questions. See you in our next webinar. Thanks a lot.